Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 42, Saturday partly sunny with a high near 61, and Sunday partly sunny with a high near 66. Make it a night to remember at Crooner's Supper Club. Incredible live music, 4-star food, handcrafted drinks, and first-class service, all in the classic supper club setting. Don't miss out. Visit croonersmn.com to plan your perfect night out. That's croonersmn.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you for easing into the weekend with us. We have a lot to get to tonight. And once again, as always, if there's something you want to talk about, paranormal related, you're more than welcome to call in 952-946-6205. We have a question of the week. We have some stuff we're going to try to get to. But first, before we get too far into things, I just want to let people know, especially in the Twin Cities, our friend, psychic medium, Refined Divine, and her husband, Dave, are actually in the Twin Cities as we speak. They are right down the street, actually, not too terribly far from the station. They have a holistic expo that is happening tomorrow, and that's going to be in Hopkins, and it's at the Hopkins Community Education Center, 1001 Minnesota 7 off of 7th, room 170. That's in Hopkins. Go check it out. It's happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is going to be a great event. Plus, you're going to be able the opportunity to see Refined Divine. She's doing a gallery tomorrow at noon. That's a $25 ticket cost, but well worth it. I've been in those before. There's also a 2 p.m. Group Crystal Bowl sound healing session. That's another ticketed item. You want to go when you get there. You want to see what the ticket costs are. But to get in there for general entry, it's free. There's no cost to it, but all access VIP with all the other things that we've been talking about. It's a $60 price tag. But go to her site, refineddivinepsychic.com. find her under events. And what you're going to be able to do, if you even don't do ticketed stuff, is that you're going to be able to meet a whole lot of wonderful practitioners. There are readers there. There are other modalities that are going to be there. As somebody who has been to a number of her events, as always, the energy is very, very calm and beautiful and healing. And you really want to go check that out. So once again, this is happening in Hopkins. This is tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Hopkins Community Education Center. That's 1001 Minnesota 7. You know where that is, room 170. There'll be signage and stuff out there, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you go there and say that you heard about this through GhostBox Radio, you will receive nothing. But what you will receive is knowledge of knowing that you let our friends know that that you were interested in checking out because maybe something that we did. So I'd really appreciate that as well. Meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, we do have the shark himself. Adam is going to be there, and Adam, you and your wife will be there tomorrow. Do you want to let people know what's going on?
Yes, my wife will be there. Swing by her booth. She is the Crystal Psychic. Grab a reading, buy some soap, buy a bracelet. All of them are handmade. Not the reading. The reading is not handmade. She doesn't use her hands. And I will be in a shark costume out front, waving people in. Hopefully without Baby Shark playing in the background, but perhaps more of the Jaws theme.
So you are... Why a shark? Just did
the
Dave
outfit.
have one and like a shark costume? He's like, just put this on.
I'm guessing because Dave and I are roughly the same size, so if it fit him, it's likely going to fit me, or else maybe he's going to be Nemo and I'm going to be chasing him around.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I could use the workout.
I mean, here's the thing, folks. That's worth going out there just for that.
That's the price of the free admission alone.
That's the healers, modalities, Deb's gallery. That's all just dessert topping, quite frankly. I mean, did that take a lot to convince you to do, or is this? Are we just realizing you really have no boundaries as a human being?
I really have zero boundaries. If I can garner a laugh, I'm down for it. Like you had said something earlier about, me having a self-esteem issue. It's like I work on GhostBox. There's no way I can have a self-esteem issue because this has just boosted my ego so much that there is no self-esteem problem.
Adam, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we have breaking news we have to get to right now. No shark costume. They were unable to get it. This is a disaster, quite frankly.
Actually, it is. I wanted to be a shark because I want to get a little thing of salsa and be like Salsa Shark. For those of you who know the movie Clerks, you'd get that reference. But I just wanted to be Salsa Shark. Man, that stinks.
Sandwich board for the win, Danielle says. So
find the hobo in the twins cap that hasn't shaved in like 2 weeks, and I'll be pointing you in that direction.
I'm hoping that it's like a one of those barrels, and you're not wearing a shirt, and because the barrel's hopefully covering all that. Hopefully. But I mean, it's like a barrel and just straps on the top of the barrel that you put on, a la Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah, like the dog. Everything gets blown up. And yeah, exactly.
Well, you can cosplay as Kevin Smith. So, I mean,
yeah, there we go.
Now
I'll need to lose weight. Now he got skinny.
That's true. Circa was the 2005. How's that?
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that one.
And now we hate to be the bearers of bad news, but that should not stop you from coming out tomorrow to Refine Divine Holistic Expo in Hopkins, Minnesota. That is, once again, tomorrow, April 25th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Hopkins Community Education, 1001 Minnesota 7, room 170. Go check it out. Go to Danielle's table, Crystal Psychic, get a reading, get some soap, clean yourself up, all that good stuff. And it's going to be great, even without a shark costume.
Yeah. Even without the shark costume, actually, what you had said earlier, the energy in all of those fairs that Refined Divine throws, the energy is palpable. It is so much it is so much fun going into those, and even just grabbing a couple readings and just hanging out in the atmosphere. It's an absolute blast, and you do feel better about yourself while you're in there, and when you come out of there as well. There is a very high energy. Everyone resonates very highly in there.
No, it's very good. I love doing it. So I mean, it's maybe someday I'll be back out to one of them. We'll see. But tomorrow, unfortunately, I'm going to be, not unfortunately for me, I'm going to be driving out to St. Paul and picking up yet another beta tape machine. This one is free, so
Okay. I was going to say, did the one from Stillwater blow up already?
Already, no, it looks good. I pay my money, and that's the real purpose of that was, like we said Wednesday, and we took up most of Moon Girl's time, was going to Mavericks.
Yeah.
So that was well worth it. More important news as the evening develops in on itself. You may have remembered that I'd said, this is actually probably a couple years ago, a couple Christmases ago, that there was a box that I found outside of my. You remember this?
Yes, I do.
So, so it traveled with me in my car for about a year. And then I brought it inside, put it off to the side. I'm going to open it because I lent out my car. And I just took it out there, and I was like, I'm going to open this. Tonight I opened it.
And what was the massive unboxing?
Do you have any guesses whatsoever?
I'm going to guess it was perishable, and it was actually sent to you as a very nice gift, and now it's rotten.
It was not sent to me. It was an address that did not exist in the neighborhood. I even put it on Facebook as like, anybody know who this is? I'd love to deliver it. No one claimed it. I held on to it in case someone maybe came by and was like, hey, do you have a box or anything? You had a very good guess. It's not correct, but it's a very good guess. This is what I've been traveling with for nearly 2 years. Well, there's at least a year and so many quarters, whatever. It is 18 bottles of Clorox toilet bowl cleaner. The good news is I could use it. It's something I could use.
Yeah.
and I could gift it if I so desire, because there's 18 of them. Like, for example, Monday was Chad's birthday. If I would have opened it sooner, could you imagine? It looks like a bottle of like champagne or something, and he opens it up and it's Clorox toilet bowl cleaner. And could you just imagine if you got toilet bowl cleaner, a bottle of toilet bowl cleaner for your birthday from somebody who you know fairly well? What, I don't know what I wonder what kind of reaction that would be, because it wouldn't be like anger, but I've never been in his house. I don't know if that's an issue there. I doubt it. If you got it from me, would you just be kind of like, thanks, or would you be like, what is wrong with you? I mean, because both are valid responses.
Sadly, I could use it. So I'd probably be like, cool, thanks, I guess. But I think the level of gift or level of confusion comes from the tax bracket of that person who might give you a lousy gift.
Well,
I know your tax bracket, so I'll be like, all right, thanks, bro.
Yeah, no kidding. You'd be like, this is actually a lot better than I thought you'd give me. Quite frankly.
Exactly. But then there are other people who are in higher tax brackets, and they hand you that, and like, what are you? Is this a greeting card to be your new Jeeves? What?
Yeah, no, and that's exactly. Yeah. I mean, if I gave that to somebody, there would probably be people like, damn, this is a step up from last year, which was nothing. So thank you. I mean, that's. Now, here's the question. I mean, I like listening to what people are actually really saying, and what you actually really said there was you want a bottle or two of this cleaner is what I heard, really.
What I'm thinking is, I could probably use a bottle of it. Not lying.
I could give you one. I have 18 of them. I mean, I'm not starving for that.
You're going to be the hit of the party at all white elephant gifts for the next decade.
Well, the thing is, if there's one thing that the station can't use is that. So anyway, but it's a thing. It's like, what will Patrick think? What if I just put it on the board on Monday before he gets in, and it's just a little sticky note that says Patrick. It doesn't say who it's from. It's nothing else, just a bottle of toilet bowl cleaner. and it just says Patrick on it, and just watch the rest of the day fall apart. I think that is a possibility of how Monday is going to go.
Oh my God, please do it, because I'm going to be here probably until like 6 or 7 Monday evening. So I'll be here the entire time he's here. I want to see this.
Because what I would need to do is I'd need to go to Brett and say, do not acknowledge that you know where this came from.
It's not in on Monday.
True, but I think he needs to know just so that it kind of keeps going. And then you and I can't, it's just like, I don't know. It was here when we got here.
That's fair. It should show up. It should show up Wednesday then.
And then maybe try to make it like, I don't know if like Ken Haglin's in this weekend or something. Try to make it look like that one of them left it, or I mean, there's plenty of very good options, really.
Oh, I'm down for this prank. Like I said, anything for a laugh.
Now, people listening, they're like, why are you saying it over the air? Because no one from the station, apart from Chad, listens to our show. So Robert listens occasionally.
I know Patrick doesn't listen because some of the things we have talked about on the show actually has frightened him. So he does, the boy scares easily.
Yeah, he does.
And that's fine. Everybody has their different levels. So I know he will not know anything about this.
No, he won't. He won't. And I just don't want to break him. That's and I worked at a place once where for whatever reason, we switched out the light bulb for the woman who is talent coordinator at the agency. We switched it to a blue light bulb, and she turns it on. And next thing I know, I'm having a conversation with my boss in HR about why am I putting a blue light bulb in somebody's lamp, and I'm just like, what's the significance of the blue light bulb that made her so angry? And he's like, you don't know what she's been going through. I'm like, you're right, I don't, but I didn't think that it had anything to do with a blue light bulb. I didn't, if I knew that was going to destroy her world, I wouldn't have used it. Just
Look,
changing.
Bridget had reoccurring nightmares of Smurfs, and you should have known that.
Right. So I had to apologize formally. I was written up by HR formally and warned if I ever change anybody, and this is not a joke, if I changed anybody's light bulb in any of their lamps again, I would be fired. So I had to try to control myself from doing it again, Yeah,
you're such a handyman. Every time you see a burnt out light bulb, you want to change it.
Well, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. The fact I could change a light bulb is impressive.
Especially working at an ad agency, right?
Oh gosh, yeah, my gosh. Because let's put it this way: when we switched out the light bulb to a blue light bulb, it wasn't meant to be anything other than turn on. Oh, it's a blue light. It wasn't meant to destroy her. Honestly, it really wasn't. But here we are. And strike one in the files for me. So yeah, that's incredible. So what I'm eventually getting to is I just got to make sure that if I do something like this, that the Clorox toilet bowl cleaner bottle that has Patrick's has his sticky note on it saying his name, that it's done in a way that doesn't tear him down to nothing, because clearly we don't know what's going on in people's minds. So yeah,
he could be holding on by a piece of dental floss, and bleach might be the end of it.
So Nicole, this is great. Clearly that HR had nothing else to do of any importance, and that's kind of true. Here's the best story of all time. I know we want to get to a break eventually here, but we used to play massive pranks at the agency, and they're not like not to quite to the level of the blue light, because clearly that destroyed a department. But so like one of the when you have really good copywriters, they are really funny and they're really creative and they have all these fun ideas and they get bored very easily. So one of them one day put on one of the printers that the copy machine currently doesn't work by pressing the buttons. You have to put the paper on the glass tray and say your name, like vocalize your name, your department, and your cube number, and then it will work. And so you'd hear like, and funny enough, Nicole, the HR person who was doing this, her name was Nicole, and so you'd hear like down the hall, and she was the one that would fall for everything. Nicole Mikos, HR, and nothing. Then you'd hear Nicole Mikos, HR. And then finally, Nicole Mikos, HR,
And that's when you walk by those rooms like, how do you make more than me?
Oh, it's great. It's so great. And just even simple stuff like, gluing a quarter to the ground because everyone there is, so
Yeah.
and just watching. I mean, we didn't care about our floors, I guess, but you were just watching people stop and try to, oh my gosh. Anyway, before we go here for break, let's just quickly go through question of the week. Question of the week is, do you believe in spells? Have you cast spells? Have you been on the receiving end of them? What do you think? What is your thoughts? Go ahead, put it into the comments. You can give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We're taking a break. We're easing into it. It's Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. Okay, quick question. What do UFOs, breathwork, and psychedelics have in common? Find out at the Midwest first of its kind consciousness experience, the Contact Modalities Expo, back for year 2, May 1st through 3rd in Wisconsin. This is not a lecture, it's an experience. 4 stages, all happening at once, world-class experts, hands-on, mind-expanding sessions all weekend long. Hosted by Jimmy Church, UFO Skywatches with Chris Bledsoe, telepathy, quantum hypnosis, ancient mysteries. Try telekinesis, use dowsing rods, experience the God helmet, even a live seance. But there is so much more. Curious? Perfect. Already deep in it? Even better. Go beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. The Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through 3rd. Get the details now at contactmodalitiesxpo.com. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are. But now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for easing into the weekend with us. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. Hopefully you're going to have a great weekend. Don't forget to go out to the Refined Divine Holistic Expo. That's going to be in Hopkins tomorrow, 10 to 4. And sadly, our dear friend Adam here will not be wearing a shark suit tomorrow, even though that was the original plan. So
I'm broken up about that. Now I'm down to a sandwich board. Hopefully that go away and I'll be down to construction paper.
I don't even know if I can imagine you now without wearing a shark costume.
I think I'm going to have to go buy a shark costume.
This is who I am now. So yeah, no, I think that would be great. I got a message. I don't know if you know who this is, but I got a message from just yesterday, actually, from Alex Kendall. Do you know who that is?
Yes, Fox 9 for years and years and years.
Absolutely. I got a message from her yesterday because I had reached out to her about possibly doing a video for Matt McNeil's 15th anniversary. And it took her a year to respond, which I totally understand. I mean, that's not a rip on her. The fact that she responded at all was very sweet, actually. I think it just more, in my mind, highlights, how important Matt was in her life, really, is kind of what I grabbed from that, if I were to get anything out of it. But no, she actually said, as it happens, I'm sorry I missed this some time ago. My Facebook gets neglected and comments are off now. Sorry, Matt's a good guy. So years of working together, that's summed up in four words. Matt's a good guy.
Right on. Well, we should have asked how Tom was.
Yeah. Do you know what he does over there? Because I don't know. I actually wanted to ask him and see what he does over there.
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to him since he started over there, but I would like to know what he's one of our part-time producers here at AM 950, what he's actually doing over there, because I find that really cool that he's working over there at Fox 9.
It has to be television or, something to do with more video than it's not. I mean, unless he's running audio over there, but I mean, I think he's kind of a broadcast veteran. So
yeah, so might be a camera, might be some production. I'm not sure, but yeah, I know he's going to be around in the month of May here at the station. So yeah, I'm going to pick his brain a little bit. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he's doing.
Yeah, no, very much. Very, very nice guy and very interesting. But, and I love people who have long-standing broadcast careers. I mean, I hate to say it, I do now. I mean, I'm keep getting older. I've been in it for over 30 years now, but the thing is, it's like people, I mean, Tom does predate me a little bit. And just like the changes and everything else, I absolutely love it. So yeah, I think that that's really cool. Now, question of the week. Do you believe in spells? Do you cast spells? Have you been on the receiving end of spells? What do you think about all that? And you put in an answer, which I think is really interesting. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I do believe in spells, and people are going to call me silly, but I think even prayer is a spell of a sort. Putting it out there, whatever you might be praying for, whether it be, good health, money, like I pray for a lot, find your keys. To me, that's I've always kind of considered prayer a spell, even back in Catholic school. Always found it mysterious. And, I find spell work mysterious. So to me, they kind of went hand in hand.
So basically what you're saying is you're not very good at spell work.
I am. If I would have had the magic numbers to Powerball years ago if I were good at spell work, man.
For what it's worth, I think you're absolutely right on, because what's the one thing that's and it's put into some of the answers here as well tonight. What's the one thing that people talk about all the time, and that's intention. And so if you're praying, right, that should be intention.
Yeah. That's kind of the way, it's like you're putting it out there. So to me, that's the same with a spell.
Yeah, no, I think there's really something to that there. And I find it interesting too, because we're going to read a couple answers that I feel like that some people don't necessarily understand spells, because what they're saying falls in line with what you're saying, and I personally agree with. So let's see here. The question once again: do you believe in spells? Have you cast spells? Have you been on the receiving end of them? What do you think? And let's go to some comments here and see what folks have to say. Amber says, I think every time you make a wish, you're starting a spell, but it works when you back it up with aligned energy, intention, and action. I think that's very spot on personally. And folks, just know when I say that I think you're right, I'm just like all of you. I'm just giving an opinion. Chelsea says, yes, I believe in them. Intention is everything. Also, do not use spells to manipulate people. Otherwise, magic spells are great and they work. And there's always the belief you use spells, and you got to be careful what kind of spells you use, because you don't want karma coming back at you as well. That's always a big part of anything to do with any kind of energy work like that. Sarah says, my belief on what spells are might be different than other people's. I believe that spells are able to guide the caster. The first thing that spells change is yourself, which is why they need to be done with care and mindfulness. I do them to calm my mind and to attune to what I'm doing. Now, my question to you, Sarah, and I know that you're in the comments because Sarah also says, I believe the same thing about spells and prayers. So, Adam, for the first time ever, someone agrees with you. No, I'm just kidding. And people agree with him all the time. He's very smart. But my question to you, Sarah, is how is what you're saying different from meditation? To me, that sounds a lot like meditation. I'm just curious what that is, or do you think I'm off with that? I mean, which is totally fine. I'm just curious. I'm in a curious mood tonight, I guess. Let's see. Erie Expeditions magazine says, I absolutely believe in spells. Absolutely. And then she follows up. CL follows up with a big 100 gifts. If that doesn't say she really believes in them, I don't know what does, quite frankly. So I'm going to move over to my page here. And while we're at it, I totally believe in spell work. I really do. It's and the thing is, you do have to be careful. You do have to be careful with all of that. Lisa says, yes, I absolutely believe in spells. Yes, I've cast them. Most recently, I created and activated a money bowl. I am already receiving results, all about the intention and energy you put into it. Now, Lisa, as you are a practitioner, and as you are somebody who does a lot of these fairs and that sort of thing, are you doing any classes on how to create and activate a money bowl? Because I think that's something that people would be interested in. And I'm also be very curious to know what are there kind of parameters around what your intention is for money, or is the sky the limit? You know, for example, Moon Girl on Wednesday, she had talked about the number 8 being a number that is very that could mean money, could mean wealth. And I mentioned to her there's a date in August that is Lionsgate, and there's a certain period of time during that you really meditate on your own wealth. And so I'm just kind of curious how that works. And if you're not doing a class on that, Lisa, I would recommend you do that. I think people would be all over it. And as we talked about doing some kind of advertising on the station, I'd be happy to make sure people know all about that. Now, Sarah has responded to my question about meditation. And Sarah says, that's a great question, and one I will ponder with longer. Now, I just want to once again be very clear that when I say that, it's really just a question. And I hope that everyone understands that, because we're talking very personal sort of things here. People may not realize that, your belief system in this is very personal. So I just want to make sure I'm not coming across as somebody who is either nitpicking or kind of doing a straw man of your belief system. Please, everyone, please know that this is always a safe place. I'm just curious what that is. Lisa follows up about the money bowl, which, do you make the bowl as big as you want to have money fill it? That's really my next question. But she says she just held one and will be scheduling another one soon. I think pretty much all of us would like to take that.
Or can I borrow some Tupperware from Lisa, since all of her bowls have money and then never return it, like a bad person never returned the Tupperware?
Well, and theoretically, you don't need to return it because she just will create more money bowls.
True. I don't want to be a thief.
No, absolutely. But Lisa says you can use anything that feels aligned with a money bowl. Consistency is also key. You feed it and interact with it. It can be as big or as small as you want. There you go. That's very cool.
And I'm not trying to be funny here. I actually have a question for Lisa. I currently have 2 Batman cups going in my room that are full of change. What do I need to do to help increase that change within that money bowl?
Interesting. Very
Because
interesting.
I try to interact with them. I really do. I'm like, multiply, even though I'm not actually putting anything in you, but I really want to know, will those cups work? Because I already have those started, possibly.
That's excuse me. That's very interesting. And can I pay you for the class with a bottle of Clorox toilet bowl cleaner?
I'll give
Because
you the Robin cut my changes in.
I don't have a bowl that gives me a lot of money, but I have a box full of toilet bowl cleaner bottles. Is there something I can do with that? Did I do the spell wrong, and that's why I ended up with all that? Those are important questions to ask here. So, no, very interesting. I think that's very and right away. And so here's the thing, right? And we got some time left. Going over to another page where people answered questions, and see if I can find it real fast. Pac-Man Paranormal. Actually, Denise reached out to me and she said that Ernie's writing a book, and I'm just like, I didn't know he could read.
Okay,
Let's see.
I went to that one before I did.
I think that's just a consensus, right? I think that's just
I
what
didn't know
everyone.
they sold that many crayons in Kentucky.
Right, exactly. Is it a pop-up book? Let's see here. Deborah says to the question once again, do you believe in spells? Have you cast spells? Have you been on the receiving end of them? What do you think? Deborah says, and once again, there are no wrong answers here, except this one. No, I'm just kidding, Deborah. Don't believe in spells or curses. It's a mind game the person does to you every time something goes wrong. You remember that curse or spell instead of it being life. In a sense, though, isn't that what a spell does? It gets inside you. That's the intention. And here's the thing as well. Let's take away the word curse, return spell. Spell is not a bad thing. Can you basically if even if that's true, spells don't work, and that it's someone's getting inside your head, but it's making you do really good things, what's the problem with that? I don't see a problem with that. But then how do spells work when they don't know a spell's, or let's put it this way, how does a curse work when you don't know a curse has been put on you? There's stuff like that. So Deborah, you are more than welcome to your opinion on that. I don't know if I follow that directly, but I think you're actually, in my mind, actually bolstering the argument for spells, in my opinion.
Now, Greg, I have pose a question to you. Do you
Yeah.
think that there is a negative connotation even on the word spell due to pop culture that most of us have been raised on, like the Disney films or, science fiction, fantasy cartoons and things like that from when we were all youthful? The evil queen's going to cast a spell, or, she puts a spell on the spinning wheel and whatnot.
Absolutely, there is. And I think I almost fell into that just now. And that's why I said, okay, let's remove the curse, because that's really in my mind where it's at. But I think it goes as far back as probably many hundreds of years. But I think of like Bewitched, where, when Samantha turns Darren into a puppy dog or something like that. And that's a spell. And that's like, it's not bad, but it's not great. No one wants to be turned into a dog, I don't think. So it's like, I think that there's always something, even for comedic relief, whereas, a spell is going to be something it's going to help you. And like, if we go off of what Sarah says, it helps her be mindful for herself. It's like however it works. So yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Now, I don't know if you saw, Adam, Lisa responds that the Batman cups will work. All about intention. Does he need to be dressed as a shark when he does it? That's my question.
I will buy that suit if that's going to make that money grow.
you don't, it's like putting a trailer out for a film that's never going to be released. You just don't do that. That's just cruel that you're like, I'm going to be out there as a shark, and then it's not going to happen. So
Technically, then it's the producer's fault that didn't happen, but the actor was willing.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. I mean, still go out and you can see Adam tomorrow.
At least in a sandwich board. And
Yeah.
I will be wearing more than a sandwich board, I promise.
Hopkins does have some pretty stiff decency laws. So
do I.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead and take a break here. When we come back, we're going to keep this going. There's some more comments in the comment section. Anyone wants to answer question of the week, you're more than welcome to. Or if you have something on your mind, put it in the comments as well. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Okay, quick question. What do UFOs, breathwork, and psychedelics have in common? Find out at the Midwest first of its kind consciousness experience, the Contact Modalities Expo, back for year 2, May 1st through 3rd in Wisconsin. This is not a lecture, it's an experience. 4 stages, all happening at once. World-class experts, hands-on, mind-expanding sessions all weekend long. Hosted by Jimmy Church, UFO Skywatches with Chris Bledsoe, telepathy, quantum hypnosis, ancient mysteries. Try telekinesis, use dowsing rods, experience the God helmet, even a live seance. But there is so much more. Curious? Perfect. Already deep in it? Even better. Go beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. The Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through 3rd. Get the details now at contactmodalitiesxpo.com. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are. But now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And we are easing into the weekend with Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. Join me next week. I was going to say Monday, but during the break, I realized that I made a mistake with scheduling. So I got to figure out what's going on Monday. But I will tell you, on Tuesday, I'm going to have on MK Davis. And what he's going to do, because he's been studying this for so long, he's going to tell us exactly what happened the day that the Patterson-Gimlin film was filmed, and what did they see during that, prior to that, after that, what's going on there. And folks, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I do not subscribe to the idea that this is a fake film. So for those of you who might tune in and be like, well, what's the point, it's all fake anyway, that's your opinion. I don't even know if that documentary's came out yet, but I'm coming from it from the fact that I have never stopped believing. MK Davis has devoted his life basically to this film. So we're going to talk about it in that sense, and you're more than welcome to take part in that conversation. Wednesday, we're going to be doing, we're going to have Justin Wenzel on, and we're going to be talking about severe weather. We had some tornadoes in Minnesota on Monday. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's been going on. I love talking about the weather. Justin's out there. He's a storm chaser. And then tune in and check out my socials to see who we have on Monday. It's going to be great. Also want to fit in real fast as well. We are a week away from the start of Contact Modalities Expo. That's out in Wisconsin. It's such a great convention, all about the connection between energy, aliens. Also, we might not call it spell work in that sense, but we're talking a lot about meditation, getting to understand your own energy, getting to understand how your energy can interact with extraterrestrial energy. There are CE5 experiments going on out there. There's a lot of discussions. There's 4 stages simultaneously going with programming. Plus, after the convention, there are, like, Chris Bledsoe is doing some sky watching. It's going to be huge, and that's a week away in Wisconsin. Get all your information. Contact Modalities xpo.com. Contact Modalities xpo.com. This is going to be in Wisconsin, about an hour from Chicago, and it's going to be incredible. It's May 1st through 3rd. You want to go at least see what they're offering, because it's quite the experiment. Matt Schmidt, who is on our show on a regular basis, he is going to be out there as a vendor. Great opportunity to go out and meet him as well. So we have that going on. So definitely, please go check it out. Question of the week: do you believe in spells? Have you cast spells? Have you been on the receiving end of them? What do you think? In the comments, we have Bruce, who said Aunt Clara had some spells that produced some, quote, fun results, unquote. Bruce, only thing I have to say to you is 952-946-6205. Give us a call. You just can't leave us hanging like that. You really can't. That's just not on. Okay. As they say in the UK, that's not cricket. Okay. So I want to know what Aunt Clara did. She turn you into like a frog or something? Did she make you wear
turned him into a newt? He got better.
A newt, yeah. Make you wear a shark suit? I mean,
Yeah.
what?
Had to go Monty Python on that.
Right, exactly. So 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Would love, if you want to, Bruce, call in, let us know. We have about 9 minutes left. So, just come on, give us a call, let the world know. It can't be any worse than changing someone's light bulb to a blue light bulb. I mean, it just can't be. Now, Sarah says regarding spells and meditation, she says there's also a different sense of the word when it's been used as a word for time, like sit with me for a spell. That's true. We actually talked about that with the Appalachian witch, didn't we? Because that was that's a very southern thing to say, sit with me for a spell.
Yeah, it was one of her old granny witch sayings she was talking about, if you remember.
Oh, I see what Bruce is just playing along with the show, which, that's the problem, as I already forgot what I was talking about. Bewitched Aunt Clara.
Oh God. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay.
So there you go. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I thought, my gosh, what I need to know what happened to you. But sadly, nothing. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say sadly. That's nice. But you get my drift, I think. So yeah, that's something. That's something. Yeah. I throw out Bewitched, and then someone else throws it back towards me, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? What's going on here? Yeah. No.
Well, I didn't know if Bruce had an Aunt Clara who, practiced spells,
I had an Aunt Clara, so it's very possible.
Yeah.
Well, it's very possible.
Claire, was a common name.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got to tell you, Adam, today I've been messaging with Heidi Hollis for a while, and she's going to be on in early May, and it's going to be a real fun UFO conversation.
Yeah, last time you had her on, was one of the nights I didn't work, that I wasn't working here, but I tuned in that night. And Heidi is one of those where I think we could do a Ghost Box After Dark with.
Oh, easily. And I'm very blessed to call her a friend, and she is really knows her stuff. And yeah, we're going to just kind of have a conversation about disclosure of all things. So I want to disclose that to you, that we're going to be talking about disclosure.
We're going to do that on a Wednesday, right? Yeah.
As long as May 4th is on a Wednesday, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do know it's not. So,
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Well, here's the thing, right? I decided not to do a show on May 6th, that Wednesday, because I was going to have
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Gary Galka at Ghost Stories.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, as someone who is very busy like Gary, he had to drop out because he's traveling with his wife. And so we turned it into a spirit box session at Ghost Stories, and which will be a lot of fun. I think people will still enjoy it. It's not going to be Gary, not yet, but Gary's like, let me know when we can reschedule, and that's something that we will take a look for, I guess. So, it happens.
And that's still cool with the Spirit Box, only doing a live one, but some of the ones you've got recorded, they're absolutely phenomenal.
Which I do want to make sure people know that this Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time especially go to my Facebook page, GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, or my YouTube page at MN GhostBox Official. I will be doing a Spirit Box session as a gallery that night at 9 p.m. First time I've done it in a year. Let's see if we can bring a loved one through. So, let it, listen. If there's someone you want me to try to reach out to, we will do so. If we need to cross over spirits, we will do so. I've just had the urge to do this very much lately, and I'm looking forward to doing it. Matter of fact, I've been clearing off spaces in the house so I can make sure that I can do that. So yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it, and if I can do it right, I want to do it every other week. Because doing it every week may not work, but doing it every other week, I would love to. I'd love to make it something standardized again, because people do appear to get something out of it. So I'm hoping so, at least. So,
and 9 o'clock's a very, very nice time. Have that and settle into bed, and it'll be a good Sunday evening.
Yep. Go to bed and have a nice, peaceful evening, Sunday evening, when you're trying to sleep. Yeah,
I fall asleep with Ghost Hunters on, so same diff. To me, it is a comfort.
Except mine's real. Oh, sorry.
Very much so. But to me, that's a comfort. It's like the crackle of an old vinyl record.
Danielle says, I want to hear my mom's voice again. Fair enough. And that's the thing. People will tell me, can you reach out to Aunt Clara? And I don't know what Aunt Clara sounds like, but you do. And you'll be able to tell me, like Danielle is able to tell me that was her mom. It's not going to be a lot. It's not going to be like, the Gettysburg Address that they're going to give you, but it's going to be, they're going to be something that you should be able to recognize. That's the hope. And the whole purpose here, just as Danielle is a medium and she's bringing forward spirits, that's what I try to do when I do the spirit box. I'm specifically asking that spirit and trying to bring them forward instead of just asking, can you please come through? It's like, otherwise it's like me being outside my house, like, can someone please come and visit me? This is like me instead calling them up and saying, hey, why don't you stop by? So that's the difference. Andra says, that sounds fun. Looking forward to that. Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, and part of it too is like, I might be out of practice. It may not work as smoothly as it has, but once again, I want to get back in practice. And I told this story before, but I was at an event a couple years ago, actually, in Brainerd, and a medium, one of the practitioners there, one of the vendors, she comes up to me, and I don't know her. She doesn't know me. And she's like, you need to do that thing that you always did and you have stopped now, but you made a lot of people, you made a lot of people happy doing it. And I'm just like, what you talking about? And she's just like, you used to do something where you reached out to a lot of people and you brought through spirit, and spirits are saying you need to do this again. You need to go back and do this again because what you're doing is helping a lot of people. And that was, I mean, to me, it could be no other thing than the spirit box sessions because I mean, Adam can attest firsthand. I don't help anyone at the station when I'm there. I'm more of a hindrance, really.
I just
So
like to put him in his office and shut the door and work around him.
I eat my chicken in my office, and that's about it. But now with the gift of toilet bowl cleaner, I might be more popular there.
Yeah, well, you're no longer eating, popcorn in the studio.
That's what I did. I ruined the whole studio. I ruined the whole studio. They found popcorn in a part of the studio that I never even was in. With comments like that, stand by Monday when you come in and every light bulb will be blue in the place. I swear to God, that's where we're heading right now. So,
and the funny thing is, it'll be Jeff, the guy who cleans the place on Mondays, who would be more upset about it than I.
Oh, Jeff.
Poor Jeff.
Jeff's a good guy. Jeff's a good guy.
He is.
So as we wrap up here, I do want to remind folks, check out Contact Modalities XPO. We're going to talk more about that next week. It's a week away from starting in Wisconsin. Get your UFO fix from novice to experiencer. There's something for everybody there. Contact Modalities XPO.com. Don't forget tomorrow, even though he's not going to be in a shark suit, you come out to Refine Divine Holistic Expo. That's at Hopkins from 10 to 4 at the Hopkins Community Education Center, 1001 Minnesota 7, room 170. Go out there, say hi to Adam, get a reading from Danielle and other practitioners. Say hi to Deb and go visit her gallery. Lots going on. Other than that, Adam, I think we're done for the week. We'll put a fork in it, right?
It's all done, sir.
It's all done. Everyone will be back Monday with somebody. But for Tuesday, for sure, let's talk with MK Davis. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.
Come see the trained chimp. It's the Matt McNeil